The second half of Dark Souls is infamous for an assortment of reasons. Many see it as a major dip in quality in terms of game and level design. Many of the segments do not take advantage of the interconnected world and just exist in their own little corners of the world. The enemy balance is all out of whack, and the cracks are beginning to show as it becomes clear that this game had a tough development near the end. But you know what? I don't think it's all bad. In fact, I enjoy quite a bit of this second half's mess.
Now, be still.
I love the setup to the last half of the game. Frampt is such a weird guy, and he can almost feel out of place compared to the rest of the cast. His design is foreboding, but this guy can't help but look and act silly during a serious revelation. Anyway, this big snake really wants us to link the fire, but the only way we are going to be able to do that is if we get all the Lord Souls. Frampt doesn't care about past loyalties or truces. He believes these guys have got to go. They really trust the player to know where to go. No map markers are going to save us here. We have to figure out where to go by using the cutscene and listening to dialogue. The Tomb of the Giants stands out a lot in the second half, and I think it's a good place to start with this. I think it highlights a lot of the strengths that this setup has to offer. This area's first impressions are great, man. Dark Souls plays with darkness a lot. I know, surprising. But it has never gone as far as this area does. My only gripe with this area's initial challenge is how the lantern isn't a guaranteed drop from the necromancers that hold them. At least the devs are kind enough to leave some glowing rocks around just in case. But since I've played this game so much, it's kind of hard for me to tell if it's actually going to help someone new to the game. The Prism Stones also add some great environmental storytelling. I had never noticed these ropes before, and there's even this bowl with a spoon. This coffin being opened slightly even makes me think that some explorer might have used it as like a little room to take a nap in. I had never noticed any of this stuff really before, and oh shit. The giant skeletons here are intimidating, and even with the lamp it can be hard to maintain a lock on these guys. This makes you get up close and personal with them, which puts you in a difficult spot because of these giant-ass swords and overall intimidating presence. Early on you see some sort of opening that is bringing in a reddish light. A neat trick that From Software does here is as you go deeper in this first section there are less prism stones to map out the terrain, but more of the opening becomes visible, which helps outline the terrain surrounding you. While we are here at this bonfire, I just want to mention that I love that you can find the Tomb of the Giants so early, and now you aren't blocked from exploring it at all. Well, I sort of love it. Getting out of this place without the ability to warp is a death wish, and I feel bad for any person who rests at this bonfire. But I mean, like, you create a great memory from it. Despite this section only being connected to the catacombs, the visual language of the interconnected world still remains here with this view of the demon ruins. I love this view. It makes me wish we actually got to explore more of the upper parts of the demon ruins instead of what we got. But I really don't want to think about that right now. Even if the level itself isn't connected to others, the sprawling design still remains as well. Going in the opposite direction of the main path lets you find a giant coffin and a way out of this void. The coffin sucks. There's no way of defending the spam of all the giant skeletons. It reminds me of all those shitty levels I would make in Mario Maker. I would name that shit like, took me 3 days to beat. I thought that was so cool. What a loser. Anyway, there are so many soul items along the path back to the entrance. They are like a morbid version of breadcrumbs. I love getting to watch player phantoms. There's something so entertaining about reaching the entrance of the tomb and being rewarded with getting to watch some poor guy venture into the darkness.
Good day. You look reasonably sane.
This bald bastard is Patches. He must have some sort of bad history with religious institutions because he hates clerics. If you take him up on his offer, you get thrown into this pit. They leave a lantern down here just in case a person doesn't pick one up already, because you'll definitely need it from this point on because the layout gets a lot more confusing from here on out. Down in this pit are some previous and current victims of Patch's trickery. Rhea the missionary is a bit tragic. She has all this Catholic guilt because her guards went hollow in this pit, and this rat bastard, Petrus, left her behind. Oh yeah, I sort of neglected talking about Petrus because I just hate this guy. Even way back when I got footage of him, I skipped a lot of his dialogue just naturally because I just can't stand this prick. He's such an uptight prick with a bowl cut, and he just leaves this poor person to rot alone in the dark. Taking out the hollows lets Rhea move out of the tomb, and you get to finally get out of this dreaded pit filled with towers of terror. Patches tries to play it off like he's just some silly little guy, and if you reject his apology, he tries to cheer you up with humanity. I'll keep him alive because there is some stuff I want to buy off him later. This last chunk of the tomb has the thing I've dreaded the most. The skeleton pit bulls. These giant shits are just horrible. Their damage is insane, and it's just such a pain in the ass trying to dodge their big ass attacks, and you have such little room to maneuver. But I can't help but kind of, sort of, maybe like this guy in the sense that these guys are terrifying and perfect for this abyss. They also are the reason this GIF exists, so I really can't be too mad. This is the last Black Knight roaming the world, and I'm not afraid of this chump anymore. He's guarding this spooky occult shield, but the real reward is getting to feel like a great explorer when you find a hidden bonfire on your way back. This area is 2 for 2 with satisfying bonfires. Yet again, this area provides us with a distant view that I absolutely love. These are the giant arch trees that were mentioned all the way back at the beginning of the game, and it's now here, as we are nearing the end of this journey, where we are reacquainted with them. Not only does this do a great job of selling the idea that we are really far down in the world, but it also potentially hints that we might actually be able to go to these trees. Leroy is basically an undead super soldier created by the church to hunt down Nito. Sadly, he goes insane, probably from fighting the pit bulls. I like how Nito is tucked away in this nondescript cave at the bottom of the world. The cave before the boss fight is dreadful. You're getting attacked by all these baby skeletons, and the entrance in this area has dozens of skeletons in a praying position facing this hastily put together entranceway. It's a stark contrast to the organized religions of the Anorlando gods. The embodiment of death has to make do with what he's got in a world of the undead.
How about I take my motherfucking goddamn covenant, chase you down in the middle of the motherfucking snow, you're running. You see a bunch of us in black cloaks running towards you, see me in a gold cloak. Big, tall, muscular, evil-ass motherfucker running at me. First I start off like this, running over full speed to catch you. Then I see you start to speed up. Then I start speeding. Then I just go, and I just sink my whole covenant, and they're just chasing me.
I enjoy Nito's boss fight quite a bit. Everything from the music, the screams, the bone bros, and the arena itself are all just so oppressive. I like how Nito just hobbles his way over to you after waking up from a nap. The scream he lets out when he does his magic death stab is so out of place. He just embodies terror. His attacks are slow and are quite easy to avoid, but it fits so well with his aesthetic. His grab attack is slow and just eats away at your health bar. Neo takes his time delivering the inevitable to you, and it all builds up into one intense release. Even the skeletons aren't left out of the inevitable scourge of death. His army of skeletons gave him a lot of trouble while getting footage.
Mods, crush his skull, thank you.
I had to go back to Andre to make a divine weapon to permanently take them out. Nito is one of the only bosses where it really seems necessary to branch out and use one of the different upgrade paths. Makes sense that you would have to use something a little more unconventional than fighting the embodiment of death. I just wonder, when you defeat Nito, is he dead? I mean, like, dead. All the other skeletons are essentially puppets, but Nito is the boss around here, so when you kill him, is he actually, like, killed? And wait, what part is even Nito? Is it one of these skulls, or is it just all of the skeletons combined into his body? Is he like a hive mind in that sense? Or is he the cloak? I guess Nito is just a cold interpretation of death. All living things return to one big homogenized bone soup. I think that's a wonderful note to end this section on.